Welcome back to Talk the Town. For our last guest of the day, I'd like to introduce Dr. James Richardson, a radiation oncologist from Turville Bay right here in the Madison area. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Laura.
With it being November, it's a great time to talk about lung cancer awareness. But first, I would like to kind of just get a little background on what you do at Turville Bay. Obviously, working in an area where cancer is the topic at hand, that's something that kind of strikes fear in all of us. So can you tell me a little bit about what it's like working with these patients?
Yes, it does. You know, we all know people that have been touched with cancer, whether it be a parent, sibling, a dear friend. I've had many people in my family have been diagnosed with cancer, so I know what that's about. But every day in my kind of work, I see people at the worst time of their life. Mm-hmm. And what I find from these patients is that even though they're going through a difficult time in their life, they are incredibly resilient. The human spirit is incredibly resilient. And that's what I find so inspiring. At Turville Bay, we provide radiation therapy for our patients, and that's just one component of the whole cancer treatment plan, because that can include surgery, can include chemotherapy, or oftentimes both. But with the right treatment plan, most patients do very well. And in fact, when cancer is found early, it's very survivable.
Must be very special for you to see. You know, patients come in, they're in this really difficult time. You see their resilience, you see their, desire to continue and, prevail over this. And then, it's great to hear that you're having so much success, especially when there is that early intervention and treating patients early.
That's absolutely right.
Very, very special. So what types of cancer specifically are you guys treating at Turville Bay?
Well, Turville Bay is owned and operated by both Meriter Hospital and St. Mary's Hospital. So it's an excellent example of collaboration between two very excellent medical centers to provide high-quality cancer care right here in our community. So most of our patients are from southern Wisconsin, and we see dozens of cancers. Cancers of the head and neck, which would be like cancer of the throat, tonsil, oral cavity. We treat quite a bit of breast cancer, prostate cancer, but the real vexing problem is the fact that we treat so much lung cancer. And the sad thing about that is it's largely preventable.
It is. It's really hard to believe that you're seeing so many folks suffering from lung cancer, especially when there's been so much research as well as just so much that's been brought to light about tobacco. So can you elaborate a little bit on this?
Yes. Lung cancer is the leading cancer killer in the United States.
Wow.
90% of it is due to tobacco.
90%?
90% in just inhaling tobacco smoke. That's not to say, of course, that we don't see people who are diagnosed with lung cancer who never smoked, but they're few and far between, likely related to other issues like environmental, such as inhaling radon, which is naturally occurring, or perhaps occupational exposure. But 90% of it's due to tobacco. And then we see oral tobacco with the problems it causes with oral cavity.
And that can
cancer.
cause different oral cancers as well. So definitely two major things that we can be preventing just by, again, kind of continuing to spread that message about the dangers of tobacco.
Right.
But I had no idea that up to 90% of lung cancers were preventable, and you said that that is the number one type that you're treating.
Lung cancer kills more patients than colorectal cancer, prostate cancer, and breast cancer combined. So it's a major problem. And like I said earlier, it's largely preventable. If you really think about that, 90% of lung cancer is caused by smoking.
So Dr. Richardson, I've been hearing a lot lately about folks talking about vaping as an alternative to smoking, but there hasn't been much research done on that. So can you elaborate a little bit on what you might want to say to people that think that vaping might be an alternative to smoking?
That's exactly right. The problem with vaping, and it's a concern because as we see, these vape shops are popping up all over the place.
Yeah, left and right.
And it's a huge trend, especially amongst our youth. But the fact is, we just don't know much about it. There's not been a lot of research. We don't know what happens when you take vapor and instill nicotine and various flavorings in it, what it does to your lungs when you inhale it, let alone to the rest of your body. So what I would say is if you're looking for a nicotine replacement device, I would stick to the more proven therapies such as nicotine impregnated gum or transdermal patches.
Sure.
But of course do that under the recommendation and supervision of your physician.
That's great advice, and I think it's really good definitely to point out that, hey, let's stick with those options that are, tested and proven, and we know the effects of them, and we've seen them over a long term versus something that's just kind of popped up in very recent years.
Absolutely.
So thanks for your take on that. And now last but not least, what can people do on a daily basis to avoid coming to see you for one of these issues?
You can imagine I get asked that a lot.
I certainly can.
What I would say is, you have one life, you have one body, take charge of your health, take care of yourself, eat a well-balanced diet, lots of fruits and vegetables, try to minimize your consumption of raw or of red meat.
Yeah.
And the other thing is exercise. Just walking is a great thing to do. And work yourself into some kind of regular activity. Find something you like and stick with it.
Just staying active and keeping your body moving.
That's right. Avoid excessive alcohol. Certainly if you smoke, try to quit. You know, I mentioned earlier that the human spirit is very resilient, but so is your body. Once you stop these things, your body will begin to repair itself. You'll start feeling better, you'll have more energy, and you'll be breathing more freely.
I love that. So even if you just start taking these steps today, it doesn't matter kind of, you know, whatever you've been doing up to this point, don't ever think that it's not a good time to start. It sounds like it's always a good time to start and begin making these changes.
Absolutely. See your physician on a regular basis, get your annual checkups. The other thing I would point out is if you see something wrong or you just don't feel like there's something right, don't ignore it. Denial is very powerful. Talk to your doctor, get it checked out right away.
And don't hesitate to ask questions and, you know, get that looked at right away. Right. Well, thank you so much. This is, again, Dr. James Richardson from Turville Bay. I really appreciate you coming on, shedding some light on lung cancer and the prevalence of it, as well as what folks can do to, you know, help prevent these diseases.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on. It was an absolute treat. That's it for Talk of the Town today. Thank you to all of our guests, and thank you to you for watching at home. We will see you next time.